Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on! It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here. Joining me once again is my brother, Tommy. How's it going?
I'm doing good.
And joining us also is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going?
I'm doing real good, guys. How are you doing?
I love it. It's a Monday evening-ish, roughly.
Yeah.
It's the evening. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Right, this time of the day.
After 5 o'clock, it's evening.
Evening, gotcha. But no, here we're back at it for another fun episode of In The Kliq. We are, of course, going to be recapping and reviewing night number 2 of WrestleMania 37. Part 2, night 2, part 2.
Night 2.
Man, so much to get into and talk about. Another fun show. And it just really wrapped up a big, just fun week in pro wrestling. Obviously, more focused on WWE per se, because it was WrestleMania week. Obviously, right now, as we're recording, the Raw After Mania is going on right now. So we're trying to avoid all the spoilers, and we'll discuss that at a later time. But for right now, we're just going to focus on night number 2 of WrestleMania 37. And Richard, just your overall takes and what you think of night number 2.
2 thumbs up. I'm not as excited about number 2, but two thumbs up. It was very, very well done.
Yeah,
Crowd was terrible.
Yeah, crowd was not as good as night number 1. Crowd was
considering everything that night number 1 went through with the delay and the rain, and these guys were booing and chanting crap and just really annoying.
Yeah, some sound issues. Oh my god, you've been waiting to play that. So
wonderful.
But a lot of stuff to break down, of course, with the matches, the segments in between. That's something I kind of noticed. So this show's a little over 3 hours, but it was only 7 matches, but the matches were pretty short and concise, straight to the point. But they had a lot of video packages, promos, backstage segments. They really compacted a lot of content in under 3.5 hours. So I guess that's good, for us watching at home. We got our money's worth, by way of Peacock, and a lot to take in and process. But man, it was just one thing after another. So, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So night number 2 started. Luckily, there were some rain, thunderstorms early in the day, and so a lot of people were kind of worried, is this going to happen once again, another rain delay? But luckily, it looked like the rain passed over Raymond James. Or is it? Yeah, Raymond James.
Raymond James Stadium.
In Tampa. And the show started right on time. And our WrestleMania hosts, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan, came out, this time dressed like pirates. And it was interesting. The fans, from what I could tell, we're cheering pretty clearly for Titus, and there was a mixed reaction for Hulk Hogan, which is
Losers.
It was kind of shocking because his home's been in Tampa for forever, right, Tommy? I mean,
probably for 30 plus years.
Yeah, so I mean,
well, that's we're also assuming that everyone there was from Tampa.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. It's a mixed crowd, people probably from all over the country and stuff.
It sounded like that they brought in quite a few from Chicago. So
yeah, I know later on. And so I don't know, what'd you think of their pirate outfits? It was
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was goofy.
I'm sure Animal Wrestling Association is going to have some fun with that one on Instagram.
And then
it was tacky, but in a good way.
Yeah, and then was it Titus or Hogan said like scallywags, and Titus like, dude, you can't say that or something. So I don't know. Is that supposed to be like a wink or a nudge of like Hogan saying bad things privately that got leaked out?
God, no. They want to stay away from that.
Absolutely. That's the thing. So I saw some people make some connections to that. I'm like, nah, I would doubt WWE would try to connect what happened to Hogan's personal life into on-air promos and segments like that. So,
I'm very ashamed of you, Daniel.
Just for the sake of discussion, just like, hey, this is some of the conversations people are having. So, no, but it was goofy. I enjoyed it. So it's just seeing Hogan dressed up. Hogan's dressed up in a lot of things. He's been Santa Claus and futuristic people with Suburban Commando.
He dressed up as a German polka looking dude, and he had the lederhosen. If you find the pictures.
Yeah. So moving on over to the first match of the night. So it was a little bit of a shocker, and Richard, you alerted to us this early on that it was going to be the Fiend Bray Wyatt taking on Randy Orton. I was kind of shocked this started the show off. For you, were you kind of happy that they went with them to start the show?
Oh, yeah, I was very happy with that. It was something probably the one match I wanted to see the most.
Yeah. It's probably because also, as we saw, there was a lot of theatrics involved and big props. So they probably figured, let's get this done early in the show. And then that way once we get the big heavy stuff out of the way, it's a little bit easier from that point on. So, Randy Orton comes out first, and Tommy and I noticed the full like white gear, the trunks, the knee pads. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool with the red trim. Just because Randy Orton for how many years just wears more just like dark colors, black, dark blue, green, maroon. So he's always kind of kept it more dark colors. So the fact he went white, it really just popped on the screen and stuff. And then next up, we hear the Firefly Funhouse theme song. Yep. And Alexa Bliss comes out doing her thing. She comes down to the ramp and right before the ring, and you see this huge Jack in the Box right outside the ring, and then she, is like teasing to grab the handle, and she starts, turning the handle, and you hear the dun 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 dun, and then boom, the top of the door pops open, and you see the Fiend pop out, and his music hits. But also earlier, right before that, before Alexa Bliss came out, we saw that backstage video.
We got the cool Freddy Krueger style video.
Yeah, so it was like the hallway. And it's like the current burnt up Fiend walking, and all of a sudden like the fire engulfs him, and he turns back to his OG original look.
Yes.
So that was kind of a cool little effect, but it was different though. He had like long black sleeves and like looked like a chest protector versus like the armless or the sleeveless outfit he had before.
Yeah.
So he pops up out of the Jack in the Box, and he jumps into the ring with a clothesline on Randy Orton, and they start going at it, and they pretty quickly go outside in the ring, and Randy, threw the Fiend on top of the announce table, but the Fiend just bounced up, no-sold it, and then put the mandible claw in Randy Orton's mouth. But Randy managed to escape, and then went back inside, and he did a few hanging DDTs off the ropes. But the Fiend no-sold that, just kept coming back after him. But so, Richard, how'd you think this match started out?
I thought, look, the whole match I thought was good up until the very end. So, I don't think we really need to break this match down. It was good for what it was up until the very last moment of it.
Yes,
and even then, I had just posted something tonight, and someone put something out there that I thought was very interesting take on this.
What's that?
Let me read it to you.
Okay, sure.
For what it's worth, my take is that whatever powers that the Fiend gave Alexa is corrupting her and overcoming her to the point where neither she nor the Fiend can control it. I think the subtle changes in her appearance each week and the fact that she no longer needs to transform, like at the Royal Rumble, to change personalities and get these powers, like the ones that she's shown to have in her segments with Randy, are evident of that. Another guess is that since Bray Wyatt's compound burned down, Sister Abigail was searching for a new host. So, I mean, we have to think outside the box with this story. Clearly.
Absolutely.
But yeah. I wasn't thrilled about this, and this guy kind of posted it. Mistretti, Chris, And I was just kind of like, well, that's kind of cool when you explain it, but when you've got nothing to go off of, well, it's not even the execution, just like it's just like what happened. Like there wasn't anything there, and the lights go out, and it's just.
Yeah, so the finish that you're talking about was obviously the Fiend was going to try to hit his sister Abigail, but fire shot up from all the ring posts, and the Fiend looked up, saw Alexa Bliss, who was seating at the top of the box with that black goo just coming down her face, like
such a cool visual.
Yeah, it was very cool. Obviously, the Fiend was distracted, trying to reach out to her. Then Randy Orton hit the RKO for the win. Afterwards, the Fiend was still staring at her. Lights went out, and then they came back on. They were gone. I don't know. I was just a little disappointed. It was a short match, and it was good up until that finish, but I was just disappointed that we've had this long build of the Fiend being burnt off TV more or less since December. He made his return more recently. Alexa Bliss has been kind of carrying the story between her and Randy Orton. And so even though it's kind of tough to tell, obviously I think they want the Fiend to be portrayed as the babyface in this situation. So he's been gone for months. Randy Orton did a devastating, tragic thing to him, burning him alive. And so this is his big return on the biggest stage of the year for wrestling. And the Fiend as the babyface still loses, and just loses by an RKO. One RKO. That's all it took. So he's this big, magical, powerful character who's no selling throughout the whole match, but yet one RKO took him out. So I guess RKO really is the most devastating finisher in all of pro wrestling. How to interpret that. I was just more disappointed with the outcome. You would think, I think for all of us, we didn't really do predictions or anything, but we all kind of assumed this was probably a slam dunk. Next to Bad Bunny winning his match at night one, I think most people assume this was a guaranteed win for the Fiend, but it wasn't. So it was just a shocker in that sense. But yeah, it was just, I was a little frustrated. It was like, where you go now with the Fiend? It's like he makes his big return. And I mean, I love the entrance and the props because it shows this is WrestleMania, over the top theatrics. And on this big grand stage, you're able to get away with these big over the top props. So I really enjoyed what the Fiend brought to the show, but then lose after all that. It's just really just, and where's he go from here? So
I think that's the big story when you look at it, is that the story now is between Alexa and Bray.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And we'll see.
Maybe this is some sort of path to get the mask off of him again and get Bray Wyatt we recognize back. So
yeah, sure.
He's not going to wear that mask forever.
Like depossessed, like he's gonna,
like Kane.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes, how they handle it. But yeah, I think a lot of people are getting kind of frustrated with the Fiend character and just how he's being booked and stuff. So, but
he hasn't been on TV in months, so if they're getting frustrated, screw him.
Well, I mean, it's just like,
and he's still being the eater of all pins.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, we saw a backstage segment. Eric Bischoff talking to Titus and Hulk Hogan. Bailey interrupted them and wanted Bischoff to be on her show, Ding Dong Hello. Bischoff was praising Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and they just kind of ignored Bailey. So, poor Bailey. It was the beginning of her night of just getting crapped on all throughout the night, which we'll get more.
She's a heel.
Absolutely. Next up was the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler take on Natty and Tamina. Richard, you told us last night, is it still, after you slept on it, is this still your favorite match of the night?
Yeah, for sure.
Please explain.
Sure. I wasn't expecting a good match. I was expecting 5 minutes maybe at the most, and not to be invested. I didn't think the fans would be invested. They were super invested in this. I don't know why. It's kind of funny that I saw people complaining that Natalya and Tamina didn't win, and it's like, since when did you care about this team? Like, it's just kind of one of those situations where out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, we love, like when Kofi was in the main event title picture. The fans didn't care that he was not in the picture before, and then once he is, then that's their guy now for a minute.
As Daniel Bryan said, the fans are fickle.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel Bryan, that was a straight shoot in that promo. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the physicality was way up on this one with those knee shots. And I mean, Nia Jax typically kind of bores me. And she was highly entertaining in this. And cursing and all that. And
Yeah.
it just
She was being cocky in this match.
I want more of this. So
yeah. I mean, Natty obviously very technical and just one of the veterans of that roster. But her and Basil early on going at it, trading moves. I mean, Tommy, you really liked the knee shot.
That was stiff as hell.
That first big knee shot in the middle of the ring, that was like
split her lip.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. And then Nia Jax, to her credit, she played the big bad, just cocky monster in the ring for this match.
It just felt very evenly matched.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You had your two technical wrestlers, and then you had your two big mean Samoans. So.
Yeah, the two powerhouses.
And I don't know if you saw, but even Tommy Dreamer tweeted props to Tamina, how she really came off as a strong babyface in this match.
Definitely.
And the story early on was, her and Nia were going back and forth trading shots. You kind of heard Nia pretty clearly on the video or watching. She said, "Lay into me." And so Tamina starts laying into her more. And Tamina went for multiple body slams, but couldn't lift up Nia. So Tommy, I noticed you tweeted out that's probably going to be
her the Andre moment.
Yeah, that was going to be a big moment
slamming.
that was coming.
Yeah.
And so, later towards the end, we see Nia Jax come off the second rope with the double crossbody to the challengers for a near fall on Tamina. And then finally, Tamina came off the top rope. She tried to do another frog splash like her dad, Jimmy Superfly Jimmy Snuka. But Nia Jax was able to move out of the way. Then Nia made the tag in, locked Nia Jax in the sharpshooter, but Baszler was actually the legal woman in the match, and Baszler slid in and locked in Natty with the Kurafuda clutch to score the win. Kurafuda
clutch, yes.
And so, Nia and Shannon retained the tag title. So it was a fun match. I think they went almost, 14 minutes, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
So they got plenty of time to tell their story in the ring. Yeah. So, a little over 14 minutes. So, I enjoy this as well. I mean, I think Tamina came off very babyface strong. Attempted another, frog splash 2 nights in a row. Didn't actually hit it, but still got her body slam in on Nia.
Oh, yeah, that was the best part.
Natty did her thing, but, Shayna was able to outsmart everyone and get the submission in for the win. So it was a very fun match. And obviously, I think it was the better match compared to the tag team match the night before. So,
right.
Next up was Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn. They come out, then Logan Paul.
Let's not spend too much time breaking this one down.
This
is just another Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match.
I know.
Yeah.
JBL on commentary, though, I kind of enjoyed that. Just hearing he made a lot of old school references. But, dude, this match, I think they barely had... It was under 10 minutes, but I enjoyed they went like kind of balls to the wall from the beginning. They were like laying like just one big spot after another. Kevin hit that power bomb on Sami Zayn early on. And then,
plus I like how Sami Zayn was dressed up like Fidel Castro, and it's in Florida, of course. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah. So, but Owens hit that pop-up power bomb to start up the match, and then Owens locked. They were trying to do a power bomb again on the ring apron.
What did you like from the match?
I just like it was just
let's not break down these matches. Let's talk about what we liked.
Well, no, I just liked the intensity between the two of them, and that they were going back and forth.
It was hard hitting.
It was, it showed the frustration that Kevin Owens had towards Sami Zayn and was just laying into him. And, Sami Zayn kept looking over at Logan Paul for his approval. And Logan Paul,
that's probably the highlight of it for me. Just the
reactions from him.
Really lame searching for approval.
Yeah. And then, for me, the callback to Battleground 2016 that JBL pointed out when, what was it? Sami Zayn went for a flurry of suplexes, brainbuster. What was it? Came back. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Owens came back with the superplex and then a series of clotheslines in the corner. Zayn counter with a haluva kick, but Owens came back with a pair of super kicks and a stunner for a 3 count. So just that finish at the end was very similar to Battleground 2016.
Yeah.
But the highlight was after the match. Logan Paul comes in and was trying to shake Kevin Owens' hand. Sami Zayn got mad, and then Logan Paul pushed Sami Zayn down and then raised Kevin Owens' hand. But Kevin Owens looked at him and looked at his hand and just really sold it. Like, who the F are you, man? and the crowd was booing Logan Paul. But then Kevin Owens went up and was going to give him a hug, but instead just stun him. And so Logan Paul, to his credit, dropped to his knees pretty damn good. So I thought it was just a lot of fun, and for a short time frame, they got a lot of great offense in them, both one another.
Yep.
And then this backstage segment was pretty goofy. Riddle comes up on the Great Khali. They're going back and forth. Riddle congratulates Khali on getting the Hall of Fame, and then Riddle's trying to get a translator for the Khali, but then Rob Van Dam comes up and had some rolling papers for everyone. What'd you think of Riddle and RVD finally sharing a screen together? I think we all kind of see a lot of similarities between the two of their characters.
I don't know what you mean.
for the 420 crowd out there, the 420 fans. So I think a lot of people were just popping to see the two of them share a screen together. So that was cool. And then, Riddle wished everyone good luck and laughed. And so next up for the U.S. title, Riddle taking on Sheamus. Dude, this match was hard hitting, and it was fast paced as well.
Summed up Sheamus's year pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like these two guys have great chemistry. We've seen on Raw recently, but also even SmackDown last summer. So these guys have had a lot of opportunity to work together. So when they come together on the biggest stage, it was an awesome match here. I don't know, Richard, was there any highlights for you from this match that you really enjoyed?
I just like the brutality of it. Yeah. Like that's my bag. So I don't care about fancy moves. It's the the balls to the wall, fists and faces. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, at one point they were both in the top corner, and Riddle hit the belly-to-belly suplex off the top there. It was really cool. I enjoyed that part. But then later on, they were up on the top of the rope again, and Sheamus was going to attempt a white noise, but slipped. Yeah. And just kudos to him. He was able to recover and jump back down and just recover and just hit a regular white noise in the ring. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. And then went up in the other corner, hit that flying knee, the diving knee to Riddle's face.
That was the best spot of the match.
That was so good. And then Riddle eventually got up and went for a springboard moonsault. But Sheamus caught him with the bro kick and got the pin there. So yeah. Sheamus, new U.S. champion. That's good. I think it's a nice reward for all of his hard work over the last year in the pandemic year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just I really enjoy that, and I'm really excited to see what Sheamus can do moving forward as U.S. champion now. Next up, it was the Intercontinental Championship match. Big E defending the title against Apollo Crews. It was the Nigerian drum fight. And, we all kind of speculate, what is this? What is a Nigerian drum fight? And the announcer said it's a no DQ, no count out, tables, kendo sticks,
two
drums.
guys beating the crap out of each other.
That's all it was. And there was a gong outside the ring as well.
I laughed at that part.
Wally, performed Big E's entrance. Big E was super happy. You could tell just because he's from Tampa. So they come out and from the hometown crowd. Yeah. Even though Wale was lip syncing, it looked like. But it was cool. And then Apollo Crews was also out there as well. But yeah, Richard, what you think of how this match ended up playing? It was a short one. It was under 7 minutes.
Was it only 7 minutes?
Yeah, it was. 6:50.
Damn. I liked it. At first, I wasn't liking it. I didn't care for them. I don't like it when they use weapons like that. But I was surprised at how physical it was and how much it feels like Apollo Crews has improved in the most recent months. So I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was interesting that they both started with the kendo sticks and just wailing against each other, taking swings back and forth. I was like, damn, I thought, is this more of a kendo stick match than anything? They had the drums on the outside, but they weren't really using them for anything. It was more for on display. So I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, what the hell, man? Kind of use those more, like bang their head. I mean, they used the big gong at one point. I thought that was a good spot. But, Apollo Crews, we saw him, he was came back with a flurry of shots with the kendo stick, but missed when he was trying to hit a big splash on Big E from the top rope through a table. That was insane. Big E hit the big ending, and then it looked like he was going to get the pin, but then we see Dabba-Kato run in, take out Big E, hit him with the choke slam, and then put Apollo Crews on top of them for the 3 count. So Apollo Crews is the new Intercontinental Champion. It looks like he now has a new
an ally,
security guard,
partner.
What's the old term, like what Kevin Nash or
an enforcer
for Apollo Dabba-Kato. So
yeah,
Richard, I'm sure you're happy. Raw Underground still lives on between Dabba-Kato. Almost guys from Raw Underground are being repackaged and used for other ways. So what do you think of this pairing now between the two of them?
Raw Underground was over. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go.
I mean, I can't comment too much on the pairing, considering like we haven't really seen anything. So you just saw them together. I thought the match was fun. It was nice to have a shorter match after having 2 seemingly longer matches.
Mm-hmm.
So, or I guess not really. This was a shorter show.
Yeah, it was shorter matches overall throughout the whole night, except for the last one at the end.
Yeah, which is not bad because it different field than the night before. We got longer matches the night before.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool seeing Dabba-Kato. I mean, that's the thing. Michael Cole was like, "Who is this guy?" And it's like, come on, man. We saw Dabba-Kato last summer on Raw Underground.
He's a giant. He was in one of your children's WWE movies on Netflix. Like,
I mean, come on, you don't know who he is. Trying to act all like he has no idea who this guy is. It's like, come on. So I wonder if he's gonna get a new name. But he had like his like a suit on, like a soldier type suit, I guess, to be paired with Apollo Crews. So it looks like they're adding some more layers to Apollo Crews' character, which is cool.
You don't like Apollo Crews' character?
I mean, just the accents. Like, come on, man.
It's a great accent.
Everything else is great about Apollo Crews. I love the direction he's going, but it's just the accent, man. It's like, come on. It's so forced. I love the accent. It is so forced and fake. Like, come on, man. But no, Dabba-Kato, I'm excited for this. So maybe maybe they probably saw what Omos was doing for AJ Styles. They're like, let's do that for Apollo Crews and get Dabba-Kato out there. So it's like, is this going to be the SmackDown equivalent? That type of matchup. I don't know. So we'll see.
The pairing, you mean?
Yeah, we'll see what cool stuff they can get into. And then next up, so they recap the Hall of Fame, the 2021 class. Bischoff, Molly Holly, Great Khali, RVD, Kane, Ozzy Osbourne, and Warrior Award recipient Rich
Isn't
Herring.
Ozzy your boss?
He's one of our core artists, as we like to say. So
don't the Osbournes own the Bone?
No, I wish. That'd be kind of cool.
I thought they did.
They have Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Radio.
That's what it is.
Yeah, so,
I listen to that.
So it was, it is what it is. But ultimately, next up, we saw the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I was excited for this one.
Me too. I was excited. And Rhea Ripley had Ash Costello at New Year's Day come out and perform a theme song. Dude, it was mixed so bad.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. It's just, was this the TV feed? But it sounded so bad. Like the singer, her voice was just off and it was just more screaming. And
yeah,
you could barely hear the band.
Right.
It's live, pal.
Well, but like, so on the side note, so our buddy Tony Fury, who was there, I watched a video he posted from his camera of her entrance, and the music sounded a little bit better in-house in the stadium. So I don't know if it was a bad mix for the TV feed. So I was just, like not a good look for metal music that night. It's like, come on. But the match itself, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a tad underwhelming. I'm just
really.
I kind of was waiting for this match to go into a second gear. I enjoyed most of it, but it's just I was waiting for this match to get into like a second gear, get into like a second win that really was like set it off as like a really big match.
Interesting.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
It was my second favorite match of the night. So.
Really?
I thought it was great. I love the Riptide at the end. I mean, I felt like that kind of summed it up because it was a good way for Asuka to eat a pin is just kind of spin out of control, because it looked like the way they got to that transition was it looked as if one wrong step and Rhea would have fell on her ass, and she knocked it out, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I love Rhea Ripley. I mean, I love Asuka even more, but
that entrance has just ruined it for you.
But seeing Rhea Ripley come out, I mean, God, she has that rock star look.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's so cool. Tom, you pointed out she won the NXT
UK Championship, Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, and
now the Raw.
And now the Raw Women's Championship, all at the age of 24.
So it's amazing how much she's been able to achieve and like these stepping stones in her career.
I mean, yeah, before the age of 25.
Yeah, so it's awesome. And like, she has that great it factor, that look. And I mean, I love everything she does. And
she looked like a powerhouse in this match.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I just felt it was a tad flat. Like, I mean, I've only watched it once. Maybe if I watch it again, it'd be different. It just felt a tad flat for me. Like I was waiting for them to kind of kick things up a notch.
Do you think that might be because of the lack of story?
Well, sure, lack of story, but it was kind of thrown together very short notice. You know what?
Yeah.
Less because Rhea Ripley was Charlotte's replacement. Let's be honest. We all know Charlotte got COVID and was written off.
Dude, you can't say that.
So
Vince can say it.
But here's the thing. Keep in mind. Like, listen, we just talked about it. Riddle and Sheamus. They put on a banger match because they've had plenty of time to work together, get comfortable. They have great chemistry together.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo and Big E. I mean, they've had a lot of matches on pay-per-views and SmackDown beforehand. So I'm saying when you throw two people together,
you just want them to marinate.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they had more time to build up to this and maybe work together more.
Well, I mean, look, we just broke it down that Rhea is only 24 years old. So I think therein lies what went wrong. And your view. I mean, she can be great, but she's also still fairly young to this. So
yeah.
She's not Paige.
Yeah. So, Rhea Ripley countered Asuka, the Asuka lock into a pin. Asuka tried to break the hold, but then Rhea was able to hit the Riptide for the win. So, yeah, she's the Raw Women's Champion now. So, this is a big moment for her. And I think it shows they have a lot of faith in her. And it was really interesting, Richard, just as far as the last two participants in the Women's Royal Rumble match this year are both champions now, Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. So that's very cool. Yeah. And then over the last week, Raquel Gonzalez, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, all stars of NXT are all now champions of their respective brands now. So
it's a great sight to see.
But we're at a point now, keep in mind, where all of the women are former NXT.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
With the Bellas being gone, I think they were the last of the non-NXT, but they were still FCW.
Mm-hmm.
So, interesting.
And Ronda Rousey?
She was true. There you go. That counts.
Yeah.
That's the last.
Yeah. So it's,
good call, Tommy.
I mean, it just shows, NXT can really do some great things for WWE as a whole and just like setting up stars for the future. So it's just really cool. Rhea Ripley's getting that rocket strapped to her and she's being shot off and getting Raw Championship. And it's good, I think, makeup or continuation from what happened last year when she lost to Charlotte last year for an NXT title.
Hey, you lose to a Flair. I don't think that there's anything wrong there.
But just to come full circle and now a year later at WrestleMania.
Danny, she didn't lose to David Flair.
Good point.
But I'm just saying, it's just great for her, like a redemption. She was able to get back a new championship to add to her.
I don't think that's a redemption at all. A redemption would be beating Charlotte Flair.
Well, kind of what we see already on social media. It looks like they're going to go down that route again. So we'll see how it goes live. Sorry, spoiler alert.
What are you talking about?
So next up, we saw Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan. They come out, thank the fans in attendance and, watching at home on Peacock. Bailey's music hit. She comes out and, she got some little reaction from the crowd and she demanded some pyro and they set off the pyro.
Good.
And that was cool. She complained how the legends and Michael Cole, everyone there.
Michael Cole's an idiot.
So it's funny. She just always makes fun of Michael Cole. But then the Bella Twins come out, interrupt her. Bailey got upset and called out to Nikki Bella's face that John Cena's not here tonight. Great dig. I love that. But then Nikki knocked the microphone out of Bailey's hands, and then the Bellas started beating down Bailey and threw her down the ramp, and then the fans... it was kind of funny. It kind of sounded like the fans were booing the Bellas for beating up Bailey.
Good.
Yeah, which was I don't know. To me, that's dumb.
As far as what happened to Bailey?
The fans booing the Bellas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It just, come on. Like, let's get over this. Like, it's stupid. Look, two girls that look like that look like supermodels go into the wrestling business, and all they've done is make wrestling bigger.
Absolutely.
That's total divas and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like, I know a lot of people complain, why they go in the Hall of Fame? It's like, they've done a lot for the wrestling business from like a business standpoint.
Yeah, name another female that came in, or two females that came into the wrestling business and got eyes on wrestling like they did.
Absolutely. So what they maybe lack in the ring, they made up for it they made up for it other aspects of the wrestling business, social media, reality TV, other projects outside of the ring that brought more eyeballs back to WWE. And that's extremely valuable. And,
and they brought female eyes.
Absolutely.
I mean, my sister doesn't watch wrestling and my mom don't watch wrestling, and they know who the Bellas are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's star power. It's that crossover appeal. So I'm all for them going to the Hall of Fame. And, you know, there are speculations maybe they'll have one more run in them. So who knows? I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. See what they can do. All right, next up, main event time for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns, triple threat match taking on Edge and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan comes out for that huge, just babyface pop. So good to hear. Edge comes out. God, it's been, I can't believe, over 10 years since he's had a WrestleMania match, and just that
in front of a crowd.
Yeah, it was just so good to hear. And he had the mixed reaction because he's kind of like in the tweener stage, as we talked about before. But
his gear looks sweet.
Yeah, it was also white with red trim. So him and Randy Orton were kind of matching. Even though
rated RKO.
Yeah,
there you go.
Hey, what's going on there?
We got a connection there.
Roman Reigns comes out, and dude, the crowd was booing him. Loved it.
Yeah, that was great.
Great. So it just
the cheap heat.
Yeah, and people, you know, who don't like Roman Reigns have a legit reason to boo him now, since he is the biggest heel in the company, if not all pro wrestling. Dude, this match early on, I love, you know, your traditional triple threat where, you know, they all start out attacking each other, but then eventually one person rolls out the ring and then two guys go at it. But Richard, I love that it was pretty much like one big spot after another. How about you? How do you think this match played out here?
It was very, very physical. I mean, since Daniel Bryan's come back, he's been the best Daniel Bryan, kind of like Rey Mysterio. It's really bizarre to see, because it's,
and plus he looked like he was really having fun out there.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had a
absolutely.
big smile on his face.
I enjoyed that.
I loved Roman piling them on top of each other.
I dig that.
I mean, it was cool, like early on.
And it's a triple threat, and immediately Jey Uso's getting involved. I love that, because they didn't wait for it. He just got like it was a tag team match.
Right.
And that's ultimately what it was. It was like, 'cause, you know, it's triple threat, so no DQ. And so, yeah, whenever Bryan or Edge were outside, Jey was going out there and just super kicking them. Yeah. And then eventually, they took out Jey at one point, finally. But like that one part where Daniel Bryan slid between their legs to go outside. And then it just back and forth. Edge here, I really enjoyed, you know, I'm not saying he's a part-timer. He did sign like a full-time deal, but he does have like a limited schedule.
Yeah. Well, if you believe the rumors.
Yeah, but
none of us have actually seen this contract. So,
but what I enjoy is he's been over-delivering in the ring. He's been holding his own.
We just mentioned all three of these guys, all three of them a year and something ago, we would have thought none of them were going to come back. Roman Reigns with his cancer.
Yeah.
Edge was retired. Daniel Bryan was retired.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who would have thought 3 years ago if the...
And right now, I think all three are the best they've ever been.
But I appreciate and I love that Edge is holding his own, and like... over delivering. There's other guys, part-timers, legends who've come back and just kind of milk it and just kind of go through the motions, greatest hits, do what people want to see. Edge is not doing that. He is trying to create new moments and go out there and prove that he can hang with the best of them. And so, like, he is earning his money. And that's one thing I'm really respecting out of Edge. His promo work has been amazing for this build. And just when he goes out there, he's been kicking ass. And I just been loving this. I mean, at one point, Roman Reigns powerbombed Daniel Bryan on the outside on the table, and the crowd was booing. But Tommy, you love how Roman was
he was like, "Bring it on, baby, bring it on"
to the fans. Like, it's great because now he's a heel.
He's like, "Come at me."
He can embrace the hate.
I think my favorite spot was Roman giving Daniel the power bomb through the table.
Yeah,
and then getting speared immediately after.
Exactly, out of nowhere.
Great.
Yeah, Edge comes out with that spear.
This is how you do a triple threat.
Yes, I mean, it was very chaotic, but
the chair shots were wow.
Yeah, I mean, eventually Jay comes back later on, and they start laying him into him. So let's just go over this finish here. Daniel Bryan went for a running knee on Edge, but was hit by a spear before Edge hit Reigns with the spear. But Daniel Bryan pulled the referee from the ring before the 3 count. And that, you could tell Edge was so frustrated. He was like, damn it, like, come on. He was getting just so annoyed. Even earlier, remember, very similar to what we saw on NXT, where was it Edge caught the hand before Daniel Bryan had Roman Reigns in the submission, and before Roman Reigns was able to tap out, Edge grabbed it and it's like, no, you're not tapping out here. So,
yes,
Richard, what you brought up with NXT, it was like the opponent, not a teammate. I mean, obviously it's not a tag match like we saw in NXT TakeOver, but the opponent was like, no, I'm not letting Roman tap out, because if he taps out, Daniel wins. I do not become champion. So you can just really see Edge getting frustrated that Daniel Bryan could potentially be costing him this win. So Edge just snapped, attacked with a steel chair, looking to hit both of the guys with the concerto. He managed to hit Daniel Bryan with the spot, but then Jey Uso ran to the ring to attack Edge before getting speared. Roman Reigns got back to his feet, took out Edge with the spear, and then hit him with his own concerto, and then grabbed Edge, placed him on top of Daniel Bryan, pinned both of them to retain the title. But just, Richard, visually, how epic is that? Roman Reigns took both his opponents, stacked them on top of each other, pinned them.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate, like, look at me, I'm the toughest MF in WWE, I'm the star. I took out both these guys by pinning both of them at the same time. Visually, that's such a big power move.
That's the way it should go, and it sets you up for a Daniel Bryan Edge feud.
And that's where I think this could totally go into, is Daniel Bryan Edge can go into a separate program on a separate path. But Roman Reigns, dude, he call that shot a while ago that he was going to pin both of them or something a while back. So, dude, I loved it. That was great, and that was such a great visual.
That was probably my favorite triple threat since Brock, Seth Rollins, and John Cena from the Royal Rumble a few years ago. You remember that?
Yeah. Wow. That's been a minute ago.
The pacing, I'm comparing the pacing of that.
Yeah. So, no, like I said, it was just the ultimate power move, and it just shows Roman is the top guy in WWE. There's
head of the table?
The head of the table.
Head of the table. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. I mean, like, where do we go from here, though? So it kind of looks like Edge and Daniel Bryan can go off into their own thing right now. Who's next for Roman? Like, who could be a legit contender? Money in the Bank is
Big E. What's Samoa Joe doing now since he's not an announcer?
So that's one. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was looking, okay, who on SmackDown won also WrestleMania that can have some good momentum? Kevin Owens won, but he's already done enough with Roman. Can't be that. Cesaro is the other person that won, beat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins.
Seth is always a contender.
So Seth, maybe Cesaro. Keep in mind, I mean, the Money in the Bank is down the road, and maybe that could be a future discussion topic we can get into, like who could be a potential favorite for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and that could be someone that could
I'll
potentially
let you talk about that with one of your many other co-hosts.
So it that could be interesting, just discussions, trying to figure out, looking ahead, who could take out Roman potentially as a Money in the Bank winner. So, I mean, Brock Lesnar could still potentially maybe come out and challenge.
I think they're going to save that for Mania. They're not going to put that on a SummerSlam or they've got to build that really well.
So, Cesaro, Seth Rollins, Big E, I think are all three potential people that could go after Roman.
Maybe Shinsuke.
And if you think about Shinsuke, that's your next 5 or 6 months if you really went for it.
Exactly. Very much how Drew McIntyre last year went from one guy after another. Bobby Lashley, Dolph, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton. So, you could that can easily plan you out for the next summer, this summer with Roman Reigns and what's next for him. So, overall, WrestleMania 37 Night 2, I enjoyed it. Some really great matches. Very, like I said, short, concise, straight to the point, one big spot after another. They really compacted a lot into it. Richard, do you have a favorite, night 1, night 2, or out of the two of them?
I'm going with night 1, 100%.
Okay. Same here. Okay.
I can rate those easier as to what I liked. And if I were to combine both shows and say what my favorite matches were, most of them would be from night 1.
Yeah.
So nothing against night 2. I thought night 2 was a lot of fun. But Sasha and Bianca, I mean, that's the match of the weekend for me.
Yeah. And it was really amazing. Think about it. Walking out, there was a lot of title changes, and it was all heels mostly. Mm-hmm. So I think the positive on that is you can look ahead and see this gives opportunity for a lot of baby faces to come up and start getting some good momentum and some new people to cheer on for.
Big E just lost the IC title. So now he's open to go for that world title.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep. What do you guys think about just WrestleMania being 2 nights? Are you still for it?
I still like it. Yeah.
Because it's a lot of fun.
I mean, for me, I love it too. It's just easier from a TV standpoint, easier to consume.
I can sit there and watch 8 hours of wrestling, no problem.
Yeah, me too, no problem. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to break it up a little bit and just it's easier to digest 3 hours, 3+ hours.
It's sample size is the way I look at it.
Well, and the other thing too is keep in mind, so that they had the promo Stone Cold and promoting Dallas, Texas next year, and they just said 2022. They didn't say exact date. So I know originally they announced it as 1 day, but I'm sure it's subject to change. They can easily probably make it 2 nights. And moving forward, I'm all for that. But just for me,
it's got to be more money for them.
Yeah, because you're making people buy 2 sets of tickets,
and you're giving Peacock now 2 nights of content, which I'm sure they'd be happy with.
They will enjoy that.
I will admit, though, I do love WrestleMania on a Sunday and NXT TakeOver on a Saturday.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter.
But at the same time, the way they break it up now, this WrestleMania week they just had could be a great blueprint of moving forward, of how just to dominate the full week.
I'd say
programming.
I'd say do it this way. You could have WrestleMania night 1 and night 2 on a Saturday and Sunday, but do the NXT TakeOver on a Friday.
No, they got SmackDown. I mean NXT TakeOver where it was this week, Wednesday and Thursday. It makes sense for them. So, they want to keep doing the 2 nights as well. So, I mean, like I said, this is a good blueprint from Monday to the following Monday or even that following Tuesday. No. We'll see.
So many possibilities.
Yeah. I mean, they could do TakeOver on Tuesday and Wednesday maybe next year. I don't know. Hall of Fame on a Thursday. I don't know. There's so many different ways they can kind of. But like I said, WWE, they really want WrestleMania week as a whole. They can have access hopefully by next year and just really dominate the whole landscape of making a full week for people's vacation, a destination vacation. So I love it. Super fun. I know we're all a little burnt out, tired from watching all this wrestling, but it was a lot of fun to talk about it, watch it, and
it was well worth it.
Absolutely. So good stuff, and looking forward to see what happens this week on the post Raw and SmackDown post Mania. So looking forward to see all the surprises that they have in store. All right, Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find me at The Real Miz on Instagram, and please send your hate tweets over to @BabyHuey83 on Twitter and Instagram.
Tommy, how about you?
Tommy, go ahead.
All right. Well, you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982. Please give me a follow. I do the best I can to live tweet anything professional wrestling.
Yes, please do. He does a great job at it. I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Of course, follow us at In The Kliq on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. In the link in the bio, you get the merch. InTheKliq@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform, including YouTube. A lot of good stuff. Thank you guys for all your help this last week, WrestleMania week. I know it was a lot to watch and recap and record, but I appreciate you guys spending your personal time doing this. I can't thank you enough. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to Kliqsters for listening to all these episodes and interviews, and looking forward to what's next. I mean, I think this weekend as a whole really kind of symbolize things starting to get back to normal, light at the end of the tunnel,
and getting excited for NXT on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Richard, your thoughts on the start of the Karrion Kross era as the face of NXT, as NXT champion on Tuesday nights now?
The future face of WWE, you mean?
Exactly.
Karrion Kross?
Yeah.
You know what I think of that. Everyone should watch Karrion Kross.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it and see what he can do now.
The Devil of Monterey?
Yeah, exactly.
The Toll Man?
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to this. So, so please stick around. We got a lot more great stuff coming up this week. So thank you once again for all the support. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.